Thank you, Chapel Band, for leading us and for singing. My name's Josh, and I'm the pastor here at the Church at Grace Park. If I hadn't had a chance to meet you yet, I'd love to meet you after the ceremony. I'm also the president of Christian Community Schools, and y'all, let me tell you, if you don't know anything about my journey, I am the least qualified to be up here doing this right now, all right? I'm so grateful that this class, we started our relationship 2 years ago. You see, 2 years ago, we came to a high school retreat at Barefoot Republic, and I was the guest speaker to speak to the high school students, and that's when I started meeting some of the class of 2025. And I literally was intimidated by some of these students. I thought to myself, I will never have the bodacious biceps of Sam Hubbard. I thought I would never have the preaching skills of the famous football player Brennan Manning. Brennan Marin. I even thought the talented voices of Taylor and Katie and so many others, making coffee like Gracie. I mean, I just thought I wouldn't be able to have the skills of the class of 2025. Kate Osk playing the violin. Mason, the way you drive a tractor is just like next level, man. We've shared some good times together. I want to begin by saying the verse that I read to you all 2 years ago when I first met you. Romans chapter 12, verse 1 says, "Therefore, brothers and sisters, in view of the mercies of God, I urge you to present your bodies as a living sacrifice, holy and pleasing to God. This is your true worship. Do not be conformed to this age, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind, so that you may discern what is the good, pleasing, and perfect will of God." You see, for me, my journey with you all is coming to a close, but your journey into this next season of life is just beginning. As I think about what we've been through together over the last 2 years, I think how awesome it is and how good God is that we've been able to trust Him and seek Him and see how He's moved in your lives and how He's prepared you for this exact moment. In fact, as I preached through the book of Matthew on Sunday mornings here at the Church at Grace Park, I was reminded today, preaching verse by verse, it matched up perfectly with the message I'm bringing you today. When I think about giving a commencement address, I remember telling our administration, you all normally have a different speaker every year, so I don't have to speak this year. And I very distinctly remember Shelley Carlson telling me, we had so much positive feedback that you spoke for 14 minutes last year. We are bringing you back. Y'all, I have 3 points to give you and then I'm done. In Matthew chapter 8, we studied this morning about the faith to trust. And what I want to challenge you, class of 2025, is to trust in Jesus and for this next season. Will you have the same faith? In the middle of chapter 8 of the book of Matthew, we get the discipleship part. He's going over the miracles of Jesus. And it comes to the discipleship part of it. Jesus comes after seeing a large crowd, gives the order to go to the other side of the sea. A scribe approached him and said, "Teacher, I will follow you wherever you go." This is where he says the infamous line, "Foxes have dens and birds of the sky have nests, but the Son of Man has no place to lay his head." "Lord," another of his disciples said, "first let me go bury my father." But Jesus told him, "Follow me and let the dead bury their own dead." This cord is literally being pulled away. I was like, what? Okay. I was like, the mic is going away. I mean, if you need it that bad, I can use a different one. When it comes to the faith to trust Him, students. Trust Him when the future is uncertain. Let me go bury my father. I don't know where I'm going to have a place to lay my head at night. Students, trust in Jesus when the future is uncertain. You don't know what tomorrow holds. Tomorrow is not guaranteed. We don't know what the next season of life will look like. for each of you. But I encourage you to have the faith to trust Him even when the future is uncertain. And it continues in chapter 8. And this is when Jesus is asleep during the violent storm. And as He's asleep during this violent storm, the disciples come down, wake Him up and say, Lord, save us. We're all going to die. And He said, why are you afraid, you of little faith? And He goes out like a good parent to His kids. And He tells the wind and the waves, knock it off, stop it. And everything comes to a great hush. And the disciples say, what kind of man is this that even the winds and the sea obey Him? Students, you can trust Him when the future is uncertain. Number 2, you can trust Him when the storm is unbearable. But lastly, number 3, you can trust Him when the world is uncomfortable. Now, storms of life, that makes sense. You can understand what I mean by that. There are things that you will go through, seasons that you will face over the next several years, whether you're going into the military, going into the workforce, going to work, going to college. Storms of life will come, but you can trust Him even when the storm is unbearable. But number 3, trust Him when the world is uncomfortable. You may not understand. You see, the last part of chapter 8 is about the demon-possessed men. That they come out and meet Him there, and Jesus, in just one word, casts out the demons. The demons are talking to Him. Are you here to torment us? He has power over the natural and the storms. He has power over the supernatural with the demon-possessed men. He drives them out at the request of the demons to a herd of pigs. Sorry, Mason. The pigs throw themselves off and they die. The men who tended to the pigs went into the city, reported everything. Verse 34 says that the whole town went out to meet Jesus. And when they saw Him, they begged Him to leave their region. When Jesus was at work freeing people from spiritual demons of their lives, the town was uncomfortable. Students, you're going to face seasons in your life where the way you live for Jesus will make others uncomfortable. You will have to take a stand for what you believe. Henry Blackaby in Experiencing God calls this a crisis of belief, where what you've been told your entire life, what you think of your entire life, what you believe your entire life, you will have to face a crisis where you will choose what I believe is how I will act. And you will have a moment where you will have to decide, is this my parents' faith? Is this my grandparents' faith? Was this just my Christian school, or is this my faith? Will you trust in Jesus when the world is uncomfortable with how you are living? To the class of 2025, you are stepping into a world that's uncertain. A future that's not fully written, a path that won't always be clear. But here's what I want you to remember. You can trust Him. When you don't know what comes next, you can trust Him. When your plans don't work out the way you hoped, you can trust Him. When the winds rise, when the waves crash, when the culture pushes back, you can still trust Him. Why? Because the same Jesus who calmed the storm, the same Jesus who set the captives free, the same Jesus who walked out of the tomb alive, is the same Jesus who will walk with you into every classroom, who will walk with you into every boardroom, who will walk with you into every hospital, who will walk with you into every home, who will walk with you into every unknown. You don't have to have it all figured out. You don't have to see the whole road. You just have to know the one who walks ahead of you. The one who walks ahead of you, His name is Jesus. The one who knows you, the one who loves you, the one who's never made a mistake and never will make a mistake. So as you go from this place, class of 2025, go with boldness, go with joy, go with passion, but above all, go with faith. Faith to trust Him with your future. Faith to trust him in your fears. Faith to trust him through every storm that may come your way. Because when you trust in Jesus, you will never walk alone. So class of 2025, do you have the faith to trust him? Knowing you for these past 2 years, I believe that you do. I believe in what God is doing in you, and I can't wait to see what will happen when you trust him with everything in your life. As the great theologian once said, the world has yet to see what God can do with a man fully consecrated to him. And then he said, by God's help, I aim to be that man. Students, be that generation. Be the ones who live not for the applause, but for impact. Be the ones who pray big, who dream boldly, and who love deeply. Be the ones who don't just graduate with honors, although that's awesome. Be the ones who live with honor. Be the ones who live for God's kingdom and for his glory. Be the ones who walk in the way you should go, in the truth that you should know, and in the life that you should live. Be the ones who are true to God's word. Be the ones who are resolute in the faith. Be the ones who are active physically and spiritually, intellectually driven and noble-minded. Be the ones who are understanding of wisdom, wisdom that this world does not offer, but wisdom that only comes from above. Be the ones who live as if it depends on you, but you pray like it depends on God. Class of 2025, by God's help, will you be that man? Will you be that woman? Will you be the generation that rises up? Will you surrender all to him? Will you decide to follow Jesus as you go from this place? I don't know about you, but for me, I have decided to follow Jesus. No turning back. No turning back. Though none go with me, still I will follow. No turning back. No turning back. My cross I will carry until I see Jesus. No turning back. No turning back. The world behind me, the cross before me. No turning back. No turning back. Go live with the faith to trust him and watch what he will do through you. Congratulations, Christian Community Schools, class of 2025.